Hey guys, welcome back to Transplants. I'm Amy, and today I would like to go over some prepping. I wouldn't say I'm really a prepper, but I would say I'm a prepper. And there's nothing wrong with being prepared. It's because through storms of life and storms in general, it's just become handier to have things on hand. Buy things in bulk, have things ready. And September is Emergency Preparedness Month. So you can go to the FEMA.gov website and they have a list of suggestions for you. And today I would like to go over that and kind of expand on that, if you will. Because it's very simple to be prepared for what life throws our way. But just so you know, I have lived 2 weeks without electric after a hurricane. It was horrible. I don't suggest it for anybody to do on purpose. Like, no. Also, ice storms. We had a really bad ice storm before I moved out here to the coast. And at my dad's house, they didn't have electric for 2 weeks. So he would come up and they would do laundry and take showers, hot showers. Luckily, they do have a fireplace, so they were able to keep their home warm, but it really didn't help in the other aspects of life. So that's 2 weeks. So while the FEMA guidelines say that you should be prepared for an emergency to cover you and everybody in your family, including your pets, don't forget the pets need food and water and shelter and everything also, for 72 hours. 72 hours, that's 3 days. So while we'll go over the FEMA guidelines, I'm here to testify 72 hours is not going to cut it, guys. Most generally, from my experience, a true emergency seems to last 2 weeks. So you want to have 2 weeks worth of everything that you need. And we're going to go over some of that today. So, thank you for joining me, and let's get prepared. First of all, basic needs would be your food, your water, and your shelter. That's what everybody needs to survive, right? And on the FEMA website, they are suggesting 1 gallon of water per person per day in your family. And I would say that goes for pets too. So we have 2 dogs that we would want to make sure they have 1 gallon of water per dog per day as well. And then the chickens and everything else is just another thing. Luckily, I have set up rain barrels. In a true emergency, I would probably be watering them with the rain barrels. Right now, as life is going fine and smooth, the water in the rain barrels are primarily to water the gardens. However, if it came down to we didn't have running water, the chickens would get rainwater from the barrels. And they're saying 3 days supply of non-perishable foods. So things that are easy, like your canned soups, any of your convenience meals that are non-perishable. Canned goods are a great choice here. I would say cereal, however, the cereal, you always need milk. Like, I'm not going to eat dry cereal. So think about it. Think things through as you make your plan. And get what you guys actually eat. Don't buy a bunch of stuff that you refuse to eat. Now, do I eat a lot of canned soups? No, I make soup. But do I have a lot of canned soups? I do. Because just in case. And the hippie, he keeps canned soups in the truck. And if he can't break away for a lunch or something, then he will just open a can of soup or tamales or, God help him, the Vienna sausages and stuff. So we do have plenty of that around. And that's what the non-perishable means, not stuff that you have to have in the freezer or the refrigerator. Because remember, it's lights out, no electricity. Chances are you may not have a refrigerator. It really, really, really changes the way you live when you don't have the functions of normal conveniences that we've gotten so used to now. But it seems to be that, like right now, where my mother and one of my sisters lives, they've had a very, very dry, we've had a dry summer, but they've had a drought summer in Kansas. And they are literally just, I believe last night or the night before, the city had an emergency meeting because at the rate they're going with their water system, they only have 6 weeks worth of water left to provide for the city. And that has been happening back there. They've all been under water rations and things like that. So I just thought it would be a good time. September is the awareness month. Be ready, be prepared. An emergency situation, it doesn't always have to be your house is on fire or you're in a car wreck or, you know, something like that. Emergency situations can happen all the time, and they seem to be happening more frequently as far as our system. Our grid is vulnerable, our water systems are vulnerable. And for 3 days is what they're saying. I'm telling you, shoot for 2 weeks. If you can do better than that, even better. But 3 days is nothing. Nothing gets solved in 3 days. It's a great place to start, though. I understand inflation is killing us all. If 3 days maxes you out, 3 days it is. Let's do something, though. And don't forget the pets. They suggest a battery-powered or hand-cranked radio. Any type of radio that you can run on batteries. And let's not forget to have all kinds of batteries. Make sure that you're getting the right kinds of batteries that fit into your items. Also, that what I find handy is having an analog clock that runs on batteries. They do suggest a first aid kit, and I have one here as an example that I picked up at Sam's Club, I think for about $25. Obviously it's still wrapped in plastic. I haven't opened this one to actually check it out and see, but there's 350 pieces of something in here. On the back it does tell me what is in this case, but this is a very convenient little case. It's got a handle. You can carry it away with you if you need to. I did just notice that it does have the like the picture hanging slots. If I wanted to hang this on a wall somewhere, I could also do that. So again, I just got this at Sam's Club, probably about $25, $30, and you would have your emergency first aid kit. They also say the flashlights and the batteries, you want to have a lot of flashlights, but I will show you what is a really, really lifesaver, especially if you're going a 2-week span with no electric. You get tired of looking at everything with a flashlight. The headlamps are a lifesaver. And this little headlight here, I bought this for just $1 at Walmart. I know that things are going crazy as far as inflation, but I bought a bunch of those. Those are in the cars. They're everywhere. You can find one of these. And then you can get a nicer one. You can spend a lot of money or a little bit of money. Some of these are rechargeable and some of them just run on batteries. And when you run the battery down, you have to change the batteries, which in some of them are quite a trick. But get to know what you are buying. Don't just leave it in the package. This one's in the package, but I've used several of them. So get to know your product too. You don't want to have to try to figure out how to use something at the last minute. Manual can openers, guys. You've got no electric and they've told you to store up non-perishable food, which means you probably have a bunch of canned goods that you're used to using your electric can opener that we all have on our countertops, but there's no electric. So make sure that you can open your cans. A lot of them are pull top now, but these are cheap enough, guys. You should have several can openers at your disposal at any time. Make sure that you have, if you have reading glasses, make them available to you. Make sure that you have your medications. If you're on any medications, make sure you have enough. Don't always wait until that last day, especially if you know a storm is coming. A lot of times now, we know 5 days before the hurricane hits us that the hurricane was coming. So we have time to build that stuff up. You have time to put water while you have access to running water into every pitcher and pot and jug and whatever you want. Remember, you're going to be drinking this, you're going to be cooking with this. When you wash your hands, the water is very important. I would triple the amount of water FEMA says that we need. Now, if you have no electric, you may be thinking that you're okay if you have like a gas burning, your heating system for your home may be on gas. However, that means that the gas will work, but your blower that circulates it through your central heat is not going to be working. So you're not actually going to want to even be burning that natural gas, because it's just going to heat up the one spot in your heating system and possibly mess it up. So how do you stay warm in a cold house? I would suggest a tent. You can pitch a tent in the living room. You can pitch a small tent in your bed and go to sleep in there, and your body heat will be contained to this smaller area, making you more comfortable rather than this big cold house. Also, sleeping bags are designed to hold heat in. You can get below freezing rated sleeping bags. Maybe you invest in a few of those. Let's see, I have a little list I'm reading here, guys. Let's not forget safety while we're doing this. Fire extinguishers. How many of you actually even have a fire extinguisher at your house? We have plenty of them, but we've had incidents. So we have plenty of fire extinguishers. You can buy them at Walmart, at a hardware store, and probably in your area. We get ours from a fire extinguisher store. That's all they do is fire extinguishers. Very simple to Google that near you, fire extinguishers near you, and go make that investment. Also, we're going to be lighting a lot of things and doing a lot of weird things. So instead of just the smoke detector to tell us when our house is on fire, maybe this is a dual. It detects smoke and carbon monoxide. This is a very good idea to have in the house because, guys, the carbon monoxide can at very least make you sick, if not take you out. Got to have matches and lighters, and you want to have the proper cooking supplies. You want to make sure that you have pans that you can cook maybe on an open flame, because I'm about to show you something that I highly recommend here, and it is basically on an open flame. In fact, let me get that started now. This comes in two pieces. It's got the stand, and then you screw the top. Okay, so we're going to make some coffee using a French press, which I've just rinsed out. It's not dirty, it's got some water in it. We have our water heating up on our one burner. If you know some good recipes that are one skillet recipes where everything comes together in one pot, that would be handy knowledge in a situation like this. But as you can see, I could open this can of soup, put it in here, and warm it up on here, and we could have a bowl of soup, okay? Now, what I would also like, we're waiting on our water to warm up. When this starts whistling, then we can make some coffee in our French press. I wanted to talk about the hurricane lamp. They call this the hurricane lamp for a reason. You use them after the hurricane. Now, this to me is very fumey. I did use it a little bit after Hurricane Florence. You've got a wick, and you can buy new wicks to roll into this thing, and you can roll it up and down. You would light that wick and put this back on, and you essentially have an old-timey lamp. It runs on lamp oil, which is usually sold right next to the hurricane lamps in Walmart's, hardware stores, just about anywhere. You could Google hurricane lamps and order something like that. What I would suggest is candles. I bought this at the Dollar Tree. This was $1. It was probably $1.25 nowadays. This is non-scented. We may think, oh, we've got all these candles and they're lovely and it would lighten your mood. No, after a while, all those scents come together. You get so sick of it, and you don't want that smell to trigger what a horrible 2 weeks you had back then, because scents trigger memories for us. So I would highly recommend candles unscented. Also, little lamps like this, super bright, runs on batteries. I don't have batteries in it right now. I don't store batteries in a lot of my things because I don't want them to go bad and ruin the item. Make sure that you have the type of batteries for each item, though, that you're dealing with. Some things may need AAA, some AA. Make sure that we've got that straight. And then this is a tent bulb, or a camping bulb, and this one charges back up by solar, which is really, really handy. Also, I had, and I couldn't find it right now, I'm so prepared. I couldn't find it for the video, but I have a solar rechargeable power pack that you just simply put it out in the sun, it charges up, and then I can charge my phone up from there. And this feels pretty warm, guys, so I'm going to go ahead and shut it off. And what we're going to do, let me move this hurricane lamp out of our way real quick. And I have some coffee here. And I'm just going to put 2 scoops in this. And you put it in the bottom. You've taken all the pieces out. Okay, this all is one piece when you pull the knob up. And then what I'm going to do is pour this hot water directly on top of the coffee grinds. That smells really good. To all my coffee drinkers out there, cheers, cheers, cheers. I didn't bring a coffee mug out here. But then we're just going to put the lid back on it and slowly press down. Get it? French press. You don't want to press it too fast. This is filtering so that we don't have to end up drinking a bunch of coffee grinds. So you want to do it really slow, not too forceful. And that's forcing the coffee grinds down to the bottom so we don't end up drinking those. And I am so sorry that I did not bring a coffee mug out here, because this smells amazing. And as soon as I wrap this video up, I'm absolutely drinking that coffee. But we will skip over to that. I do want to show, these are little solar lights that you spike in your yard. These are a great idea too. You bring them in, take them off the spike. You can put them in your house after dark and they will light up quite a bit. You got to remember, when it's pitch dark, even the smallest light is very helpful. So, one more thing that I would like to talk about as far as, well, actually I've got 2 more things I'd like to talk about. This is a little buddy heater. This runs on propane, and it's the same cans of propane, the little green cans of propane that you would need for this cooker. I want to say this was about somewhere between $100 and $150. They do have different sizes. This one runs on 2 canisters, and it is very easy. You just turn it on pilot. Once you have your canisters hooked up in here, turn it on pilot. It will release the propane, and then you can light it from there. Actually, this, yeah, that lights itself. I couldn't remember. If it does not light itself, this is why we have the long lighters. I would just leave it on and stick my lighter in there and light it the way I did that. Something else that I would like to talk about is the ice chest. We all think that Yeti is the best, and I will show you. This is Ozark Trail. Obviously, there is a Walmart near me. Ozark Trail is the Walmart version of, well, they do a lot of camping gear and stuff like that, but they make an ice chest that is very much like the Yeti. Similar handles and everything. I will tell you that I sent the hippie out to the Cape for a weekend or something, and I set him up with one of these ice chests and a Yeti one, the same size, same everything. And the first one to lose the ice melted in the Yeti first. So I actually suggest that Walmart ice chest, great to have. Now this is the smaller version that I'm just showing you for the video, but we have several of these in the full-size versions. So you'll want an ice chest, believe it or not. If it's just going to be 72 hours, you might be able to make it 72 hours with your milk and eggs and things that you have in the refrigerator in your ice chest, and then the world could go back to normal. Otherwise, you refill it with ice every time the ice goes down, every other day or so, every 3 days. But you will be glad you had at least an ice chest. So, anyways, guys, I'm not trying to scare anybody, but I do think that we need to be more prepared. We need to be able to handle ourselves if an emergency shall arrive. Also, if you've stayed this long, I would like to say the world seems like gloom and doom, and I'm not here to sell fear. I'm absolutely not. Let's just get some stuff and get ready for whatever comes our way and roll with the punches. However, September is also Suicide Prevention Month, and they do have a new number for the Suicide Prevention Lifeline. You can simply, I believe you can call or text 988 if you are having some issues. Also, the text, you can text the word home to 741-741. And that is a free crisis counseling center. So guys, let's be prepared for what comes our way, and let's stay healthy, happy, have good thoughts. If we need some help, let's reach out and get the help we need, and just be prepared and roll with the punches. Thank you guys so much. I hope you enjoyed this video. It's a little bit awkward. It's not gardening, but it needed to be said with my family running out of water. It's kind of on my mind, so I just thought I'd share some ideas of how easy it is just to have a few things and be prepared. I do hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you very much for stopping by today, and take care.